We'll talk about 2026 quarter one earnings season. More than 266 companies out of top 500 companies in India have already delivered their results. And this earnings season has been a much better one. Companies grew their earnings by more than 17%, and they grew their revenue by more than 11%, which is a much better version compared to prior quarter. Now let's look at which sectors which did really well. Basic materials stood out with a whopping 80% earnings growth. This was on the back of very strong metal prices. So steel, cement, non-ferrous metals, all of them did quite well. Real estate also stood out very well, where they delivered the earnings growth of more than 30%. Their pre-sales records are good. Their project execution is also quite good as well. IT services sector has been a turnaround sector, and they've been able to grow their earnings by about 19%. And the last but not the least, the financials, which is the highest weightage in Indian indices, was also able to grow their earnings by more than 15%. So overall, Indian companies seem to be finding a momentum which they were seeking for a very long period of time. And the only two sectors which didn't do well were utilities and healthcare. But overall, we are expecting this momentum to continue in the quarters going forward. Now let's talk about the US earnings season. US companies delivered a whopping 28% earnings growth. And if you were to just look back, even before this earnings season started, the expectations were as low as 13%. So this was one of the best quarters in the United States since 2022. And technology sector really stood out. They had an amazing growth of 52%, and everything on the back of AI is really booming at this point in time. So semiconductors, data centers, if you look at hyperscalers, all of them delivered stupendous earnings growth. Even communication services delivered an earnings growth of 50%. And even many other sectors like financials, consumer discretionary, everyone had earnings growth anywhere between 25 to 40%. The only two sectors which again didn't do very well in the US was healthcare and energy. But everything seems to be going strong on the back of, again, an AI trade at this point in time. Even mega companies like NVIDIA delivered an 82% earnings growth, and which is massive for a company of such size and scale of more than $4.5 trillion in market cap. Now, when the environment is such good, what should investors really do? They should definitely think about the risks on the other side as well. The economic momentum is definitely strong, but there are a few risks one has to watch out for. Number one, inflation is sticky, and inflation expectations for the consumers are also going up, which means Fed might actually hike rates instead of cutting rates. Also, the bond yields are quite elevated in the US at this point in time. 10 years have crossed 4.5%, 30 years have crossed 5.2%. And last but not the least, the government debt is still a problem, with a massive amount of more than $30 trillion sitting in government debt. And again, no signs of fiscal deficit coming down. So one has to really make their portfolio resilient and ensure that they are hedging their risks while they are still riding out this entire economic momentum going forward. The sectors that we really like are real estate in India. We like FMCG, IT. In the US, we of course think that the SaaS, the software as a service sector, could make a comeback. And we are also quite positive on consumer discretionary sector in the US market. So if you want to watch for such trends, keep watching CrispIdea. Stay tuned for the next earnings season.